down the bayou. We got to go to your mind. We got to go pull the people down the bayou.
We're here to call on the Secretary of the Interior, Sally Jewell, and the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management to postpone Wednesday's auction of oil and gas leases until Congress reauthorizes and fully funds the Land and Water Conservation Fund. Now, as you may know, about 50 years ago, the fund was created with an explicit promise that the royalties on offshore oil drilling, which of course causes significant environmental damage, would go to help create and protect some of America's great places, our parks and trails. And that Land and Water Conservation Fund has helped protect over 40,000 places and helped create trails and campgrounds and other places all around the country. Unfortunately, the promise that was made has not been lived up to. In fact, that promise is today broken, where Congress routinely underfunds the Land and Water Conservation Fund, diverts those funds to other purposes other than they were intended.
We're out here today calling on the Obama administration to halt all offshore lease sales until Congress renews the Land and Water Conservation Fund. And the Land and Water Conservation Fund isn't just about protecting our amazing environment here in the Gulf. It also has huge economic benefits. The outdoor recreation industry contributes in Louisiana alone over $4.7 billion annually to our economy and supports over 48,000 jobs throughout the state. Federal oil and gas lease sales are a public resource, and from catastrophes like the BP disaster to our continued coastal wetlands loss crisis here in Louisiana, we know all too well the impacts of the oil and gas industry and what it can have on our environment and our communities.
Having worked here in the state of Louisiana and Arkansas and many wonderful national parks around the nation, one of the hardest things to do is to maintain the parks themselves, to have proper funding to acquire other national treasures and to be able to actually provide good, proper information for park visitors, for the future generations. The stewardship of the National Park Service is dependent upon these kinds of funds.
The postponement of the drilling leases until the Land and Water Conservation Fund is extended sends a clear message that we as a people understand the glorious heritage that we have been given and the importance of preserving it. The hardworking oil men and women of this great state share in stake of making sure that their children and their children's children also have the same benefits. The country cannot be a permanently good place for any of us until it is a good place for all of us.
I see the actual impacts of that oil and gas drilling, right? Like, we see the cost that our nation is paying to get those resources, and the fact that Congress is just spending them on their kind of pet projects and not fully funding conservation is a little bit pathetic. The exact same agency, or the Department of the Interior, which oversees our national parks, which oversees our wildlife refuges, our national monuments, they actually also oversee the drilling. So they have a chance to be consistent and say, you know what, Congress, if you're not going to fund this, reauthorize this fund, we're not going to let you, basically pay off your contributors, the oil and gas industry, who really, really wants these leases.
We're going to go over to the Bureau of Energy Management office to deliver these 60,000 petitions that CARE 2 members have signed and hand it over to them.
Good, how you doing?
Good. We just wanted to deliver those petitions, as
Okay,
mentioning.
great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think you know kind of what we're here to do, but we're asking Secretary Jewell and BOEM to postpone Wednesday's sale. So we have here, I think, more than 60,000.
Yeah, I just looked online. We're over 65,000 now, but we've printed out 64,000 plus. Okay. The idea that here in Louisiana, you're a native, we pay a price for that oil and gas activity. Now, whether it's the historic land loss, football field an hour that we're losing that's turned to open water, the oil and gas impacts are significant in that. But then, of course, you were here for BP and you saw what happened there. So we'll pass those on.
Definitely deliver this and
when
get it to the
Obama
right
comes
people.
by, if you could just hand those to him, or Secretary Jewell, or also Hopper, the director of the agency.
Abigail Hopper, right?
Yeah, she is also
Ross
named in
Hopper.
there.
Yeah, so we'll definitely get these up to her, and she's on record in May on this issue. So I'll just refer to her congressional testimony on that. Sure will. Thanks for coming by.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it.